The 2020 Geneva Motor Show is cancelled after the Swiss government banned gatherings of 1,000 people or more on Friday due to concerns over the coronavirus. The ban is effective immediately and runs at least until March 15. The 90th edition of Geneva International Motor Show was scheduled to start next week. Watch this video until it finishes because you don't want to miss some of the new features and updates in the motor industry. And also please subscribe us and hit that bell notification so you won't miss out a single content from Key Facts. Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA (GTM). The Alfa Romeo GTA moniker is back as a hotter version of the Giulia Quadrifoglio. GTA stands for Gran Turismo Alleggerita or Grand Touring Lightened in English, and as such, the company sheds 221 pounds 100 kilograms off this variant in comparison to the existing Quadrifoglio. The sedan can hit 62 miles per hour 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds. If you're looking for more, the company also has the GTM with just 2 seats, 6-point harnesses, and a roll bar, while remaining fully street legal. In addition to its diet, the new Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA packs an updated version of the 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6 that now produces 533 horsepower 398 kilowatts, rather than the existing 505 horsepower 377 kilowatts. The combustion gases leave the vehicle through an Akrapovic titanium exhaust with a pair of circular outlets at the center of the revised rear bumper. Number 2. Aston Martin Speedster. V12 Speedster was unveiled at our Gaydon HQ in a conceptual specification that is inspired by the legendary FA18 and will be available for customers to order. Born from an exciting new collaboration with Boeing and created by Aston Martin, this striking livery takes the legendary fighter jet for inspiration and is finished in Skyfall silver, with contrasting satin black on the exhaust tips, vent grills and vanes. Powering the V12 Speedster is Aston Martin's scintillating 5.2-liter, twin-turbo V12 engine, with a peak output of 700 horsepower and 753 foot-pounds of torque. Front mid-mounted, the all-alloy, quad-cam 48-valve engine is mated to a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission with a limited slip differential driving the rear wheels. The V12 Speedster is able to accelerate to 62 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds on the way to a limited top speed of 186 miles per hour top speed. Number 3. Audi e-tron S Sportback. Audi's answer to the burgeoning breed of all-electric crossovers isn't as stylish as the Jaguar I-Pace or as innovative as the Tesla Model X. Instead, the 2020 Audi e-tron is intended to magnify the advantages of EVs in a more traditional package that exemplifies the company's luxury pedigree. With standard all-wheel drive and a 4,000-pound towing capacity, the two-row crossover has the capability many SUV shoppers expect. While its 200-plus mile range isn't groundbreaking, Audi thinks that's more than enough for most daily commutes. A sumptuous interior fitted with state-of-the-art technology further proves that the 2020 e-tron is more interested in making the EV segment more desirable rather than advancing it. Beneath the e-tron's heavily creased bodywork is a 95.3 kWh lithium-ion battery pack that powers 2 electric motors, one located at the front axle and the other at the rear. Together they provide electronic all-wheel drive, but the rear motor does most of the work. In regular driving situations, they make a combined 355 horsepower and 414 pound-feet of torque. However, putting the transmission in sport mode briefly unlocks 402 ponies and 490 pound-feet. Our initial driving impressions revealed that the e-tron was swift and composed. Its snappy acceleration is typical of electric vehicles, and the smooth and quiet ride quality asserted its luxury pretenses. Number 4. BAC Mono S. The BAC Mono is nothing short of unique, and today, the automaker introduced an updated version of it. It has a new design, more power, and less weight than before, borrowing its DNA from the BAC Mono R that arrived last summer. It's also road legal across Europe, meeting stringent emissions and noise regulations thanks to the new turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It hits 60 miles per hour in 2.7 seconds. The new 2.3-liter mill, developed by Montoon, produces 332 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, up 27 horsepower. A dry sump system improves the car's center of gravity. BAC also updated the mono's chassis, gearbox, and driveline components, but gave no specifics as to what's changed. The new mono can hit 60 miles per hour in 2.7 seconds and can reach a top speed of 170 miles per hour. Number 5. Bentley Mulliner Bicolor. An uprated bi-turbo W12 engine developing 650 bhp and 667 pound-feet. A top speed of over 200 miles per hour. 22-inch wheels sitting 20 mm further apart than on a Bentley Continental GT. 2 seats. 12 to be built. Which didn't put anyone off, each bicolor is already spoken for. So, what is this car? Another garage queen for the hyper-rich? Bentley insists it's a much more important machine. This car is a launchpad for its coach-building division, Mulliner, to cater to the most rarefied, esoteric, expensive tastes in the car world. If you want to say something about how well you've done, you can buy a Bentley. But if you want your Bentley to really say something about you, go to Mulliner, and get something tailored. This is the first of many Mulliners, Bentley hopes. And this one's done rather handsome business. Only 12 of these 659 horsepower speedsters will ever exist. Number 6. BMW i4 Concept. Just as a BMW Concept 4 previewed the next generation 4 Series when it debuted last year at Frankfurt, the new Concept i4 previews what will become the production spec i4 in 2021. Think of it as an all-electric 4 Series Grand Coupe, and yes, it will have the big grille even though there's no engine in need of air. In this instance, that grille isn't just a BMW ornamental piece you either love or hate. Since it's not actually serving a normal grille function, BMW will use it as something called an intelligence panel, where various sensors are contained. The automaker doesn't explain specifically what that means. Presumably it will be some kind of cover, since having a slathering of sensors exposed on the grille could get quite expensive in the event of a minor fender bender. But BMW does specifically say it's a teaser for what will come on the production model. Speaking of power, BMW says the i4 Concept uses a single electric motor capable of producing 530 horsepower, 395 kilowatts. Electricity comes from an 80 kilowatt-hours battery, which can send the i4 Concept to 62 miles per hour, 100 kilometers per hour in 4.0 seconds. Provided you don't indulge your right foot on a regular basis, the i4 Concept has an estimated EPA range of 270 miles and a WLTP range of 373 miles. Whether or not these figures translate unchanged to the production i4 remains to be seen, but BMW believes that will be the case. We will know for sure next year, as series production for the i4 begins in 2021. Number 7. Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport. Bugatti has long been a purveyor of fast cars, the fastest, actually. In fact, last year, Bugatti's Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus was the first production car to break the 300 mph mark, but after speaking with customers, Bugatti realized that there was also demand from its faithful to devise a variant that was more driver-focused. Specializing in tackling the most demanding corners, tracks, and twisting back roads, the Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport is born. For the Pure Sport, the 1500 HP quad-turbocharged W16 engine's power output remains the same as the standard Chirons, but there's an additional 200 revolutions per minute added to the tach, increasing the redline to 6,900 revolutions per minute, presumably for a bit more to wind out when you're in the twisty stuff. Additionally, 80% of the 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission has been revised for a 15% closer gear ratio spread that should help the Pure Sport to stay in its power band longer and exit corners quicker. Bugatti also has promised a 110-pound weight reduction. To achieve these savings, the Pure Sport has a lightweight titanium exhaust that is 3D printed, and there's Alcantara in large swaths of the interior. The large 74.8-inch fixed rear spoiler also sheds 22 pounds, as it negates the need for the hydraulic actuators that articulate the rear spoiler on the standard Chiron. Finally, the Pure Sport gets an even lighter set of wheels that drop 35 pounds of unsprung mass with specialized rings called aero blades. These are designed to evacuate turbulent air near the wheel and channel it down the side of the vehicle to the large rear diffuser. To go along with the new wheels, Bugatti and Michelin Co. developed a new Michelin Sport Cup 2R tire specifically for the Pure Sport, sized 285/30ths R20 at the front and 355/25ths R21 at the rear. The new tires are said to increase lateral grip by 10%, the more the merrier. Number 8. Koenigsegg Gemera. Apparently the ultra-rich want to cram not one passenger, but 3 passengers into their 1,000-plus HP ultra-exclusive, ultra-expensive megacars. Or maybe the Swedish hypercar maker Koenigsegg is just assuming so, because the automaker has announced its first-ever 4-seater, which churns up 1,677 horsepower and launches from 0 to 62 miles per hour in a claimed 1.9 seconds. Koenigsegg is the very definition of a niche company. Its products are known for having high horsepower twin supercharged or turbocharged V-8s, but that's not the case with the Gemera. This 4-seater is powered by a sequentially turbocharged 2.0-liter inline-3, which Koenigsegg nicknamed the Tiny Friendly Giant. It makes 592 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque and works in conjunction with 3 electric motors and Koenigsegg's single-speed direct-drive transmission. Together, these motors make 1,677 horsepower and 2,581 pound-feet of torque. The 3-banger doesn't even have camshafts. It uses Koenigsegg's free valve system that uses solenoids to activate intake and exhaust valves. Variable valve timing and lift has virtually no limits with free valve. This, along with cylinder deactivation, minimizes fuel consumption, meaning the 3-cylinder is said to be 20% more fuel efficient than a typical 2.0-liter 4-cylinder. The Gemera can travel on the 15.0-kWh battery alone for a claimed 31 miles. In hybrid mode, the range is 590 miles. It can also run on E85, but don't worry, it'll be loud, too. It's equipped with a titanium exhaust from Slovenian supplier Akrapovic. The Gemera is Koenigsegg's first all-wheel drive model, and it also has all-wheel steering and torque vectoring. A 395 HP electric motor on the crankshaft powers the front wheels, and there are 2 other electric motors powering each rear wheel. Number 9. McLaren 765 LT. A third of an inch isn't much. But it's enough for McLaren to use the longtail branding the company reserves for the most tuned members of the clan. At the rear, the 765 LT, which was to make its debut at the now-cancelled Geneva Auto Show, is just 0.35 inch longer than the 720S on which it is based. There has never been any doubt that we would see a successor to the 2015 675 LT, the turned-up-to-11 version of the 650S. Indeed, McLaren's CEO Mike Flewitt admitted an LT version of the 720S was in the plan when that car was first shown in 2017. Flewitt's promises it would be lighter, more powerful, and have sharpened chassis dynamics have all been delivered. As the 765 LT's name suggests, the power increase over the hugely potent 720S has been relatively modest. McLaren uses metric horsepower rather than corn-fed American units, with 765 PS translating into 754 horsepower. The LT uses the same base 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 as the S but gets a higher capacity fuel pump, forged aluminum pistons, and a 3-layer head gasket from the McLaren Senna. While off-the-line performance will be similar to that of the 720S, the official 2.7-second 0 to 60 mph time is only a tenth quicker. The difference becomes more significant at higher speeds. McLaren says the 765 LT will be able to get from rest to 124 miles per hour in 7.2 seconds, which is 1.2 seconds inside the 720S's official time for the same benchmark. McLaren engineers say this has improved in gear acceleration by 15%, at the cost of a slightly lower top speed, 205 miles per hour, achieved in 7th, against the 720S's 211 mph Vmax in 6th. Number 10. Vega EVX. The EVX will be the company's main attraction at the 2020 Geneva Motor Show. The deal is that this super EV will be stronger than we previously thought. Vega's website stated at the time that the EVX would have 402 brake horsepower and 2 motors, one in each axle. We did not know the torque nor any dimension. The Vega team got in touch with us and spilled all the beans. The production version of the Sri Lankan will be 4.53 meters long, 1.99 meters wide, 1.22 meters tall, and has a 2.85 meters wheelbase. The battery pack is composed of 12 modules, each of them with 50 lithium ferrous phosphate. Currently, it delivers 540 volts and 40 kilowatt-hours, enough for 250 kilometers of range. That will allow the supercar to reach a top speed of 240 kilometers per hour and a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.1 seconds. The original prototype achieved a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds in 2017, but considering the added weight of the production car, I'd say that anywhere between 4 and 5 seconds sounds more realistic. Vega is really swinging for the fences here because the new EVX is, much like any other EV out there, in direct competition with the upcoming Tesla Roadster. However, I honestly don't see how the two cars can compare. Quite apart from the hard facts, the Roadster is faster and probably more expensive. Targeting Tesla vehicles also means targeting Tesla buyers. Tesla managed to create a cult following over the years. People see it as the Apple of cars and buy their cars and their gadgets. I know people who'd buy any Tesla-branded item they could find. The bad news is there's still a lot we don't know about the EVX. No one knows what the production interior will look like, and even though Vega says the car will go 150 miles on a single charge, it hasn't actually revealed the capacity of the T-shaped battery pack in the car. The good news is the final version of the EVX is set to be unveiled at the upcoming 2020 Geneva Motor Show, so stay tuned. The Geneva Motor Shows reveals the ultimate epitome of the motor industry every year, and nothing seconds to the 88th version of it. But sadly, the deadly coronavirus situation has also caused chaos in the western part of the world, making governments to avoid or even ban events which has a lot of people gathering. Bugatti, Koenigsegg and many other motor giants has staged up for some of their iconic entries this year along with Sri Lanka's first ever supercar, but the event has been postponed and has caused millions of fans in worry. But we hope that these situations may clear and the Swiss government will open gates for one of the most anticipated and astonishing cars to step foot into this new decade.